Hello everyone, Mary Tully here for Tully's Training. I'm so excited for you guys to be here. It is Halloween! Happy Halloween. I'm not doing a Halloween post, I'm sorry. I'm doing a Pitbull post. So this month, every single week, we're gonna be talking about a different breed of dog and really trying to get in there with some information and some more detail about these different breeds that we see and work with and love. And this week is Pitbull week, yay! We love pit bulls, and we think they are very misunderstood, and they are really, really great pets, and also a lot of you out there have them. So this week we're going to talk all about them. So today we're going to be talking about history of pit bulls, history of the breed, where they came from, why they're here. On Wednesday we're going to be talking about exercise and training of pit bulls. And then on Friday, Kyle Kittleson is going to be discussing some more Pitbull stuff, some things that have been going on in the news with pits. So definitely don't want to miss that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So first of all, Pitbulls are a type of dog. They are not a breed. So they're more like a category. A few breeds that fit within the category include, just looking at my notes, American Bull Terrier, American Staffordshire Terrier, sometimes the American Bulldog, and also the American Bully and the Staffordshire Bull Terrier. So the reason why pit bulls were kind of created was for the use of them in what are called blood sports. So blood sports are now illegal in most of the world, but back in the 1800s they were a really big deal in the UK, and they were also a really big deal in the United States. So they wanted to create a dog that had the energy and the agility of a terrier combined with the strength of a bulldog. So the pit bull was born. Now in the UK and in the United States, they were used in blood sports, which at the time were completely legal. So this was not some practice that was in a dark corner. These were things that the Queen of England used to attend. So they had, just like horse races, some of them were kind of lower, some of them were, really high and really respected and really fancy events. And kind of the three main categories at the time were bull baiting, bear baiting, and cockfighting. Now, I had heard of cockfighting. I've obviously heard of dog fighting as well. I did not know that bear baiting or bull baiting were things. I had never heard of that until like earlier today when I was doing research for this video. And I'm not going to go into detail about what exactly those things are. If you're interested, look it up on Wikipedia. It's pretty rough. But I will tell you that it involves a pit, and it involves a bull or a bear, and pretty crazy. And so those were a really big deal for a long time in the UK and also in the United States. And in 1835, that was when Britain started kind of passing some animal rights legislation. In 1835, blood sports became illegal. So now that's when you start to see these things go underground, and the reason why dog fighting even happened was because blood sports became illegal. So if you have your illegal blood sport pit where people are coming in and betting on fights that you have to hide, keeping a bunch of bears or a bunch of bulls and hiding them from people was pretty hard, and also expensive. But keeping a bunch of dogs illegally, not quite as difficult. So that is when dog fighting started happening. They started, instead of using their dogs to fight other animals, they started having them fight each other. And if you think about the name pit bull, they wanted a bully of a dog to go into a pit, pit bull. So that's where the name comes from. So dog fighting, at this point, once it kind of started happening, it was used as a blood sport that, obviously many times involved gambling and other illicit activities that were illegal. And it was really a way, it was also used as a way to kind of test the quality of, somebody's stock. So that's another thing they used pit bulls for. Once it became, it's also obviously, it was happening in the United States as well. and it still happens today, unfortunately. Now, in the early 20th century, this is when we start to see pit bulls being used for other things besides just blood sports. They were used as something called catch dogs to round up wild cattle and semi-wild pigs. They were also used for hunting. They were used to herd livestock, and that's when we really start to see them being used as companion animals, as pets, which is their primary use today. So other uses that we use them for today, besides just being companions and pets, which they're very, very good at, they have been used for police work, and they do really, really well with police work. They are really great therapy dogs. Send them into nursing homes and hospitals, and they do really, really well with that. And they also are still unfortunately used in dog fighting. So that is something that is still happening today, and we wish that it wasn't, but unfortunately it still is. So kind of the biggest, things that have been going on in the pit bull world in the last 10, 20 years is a lot of people have been trying to change the public's perception of pit bulls and trying to get them to look at pit bulls in a different light. So in the 90s in San Francisco, there was an attempt to rename them St. Francis Terriers. That crashed and burned. That did not go so well. And then in the early 2000s in New York, there was an attempt to rename pit bulls New Yorkies. That also did not go so well. So there have been some failed attempts and some botched attempts at, kind of this effort to change how people look at pit bulls and how they're treated. And unfortunately, that's something that we really still need to do, because there is a lot of breed-specific legislation that has been passed recently that is ridiculous. There are homeowners insurance companies that won't insure people that have pit bulls. There's apartment complexes and rental agencies that will not rent to people that own pit bulls. So there is, there are some real consequences to this kind of conception that we have of what a pit bull is and that they are aggressive. Now, the really unfortunate part about that is that there's not a shred of evidence to back that claim up. So there have been many well-respected organizations that have conducted studies and looked at, through periods of time, all of the fatal dog attacks that have happened in various places, so in the UK or in the United States, and try to analyze to see, is there some sort of disproportionate number of these fatal dog attacks that are happening with pit bulls? And the answer is no. There has not been one study that has shown conclusively that pit bulls are any more likely to attack and injure a human than any other breed. So it's really important that we talk about that. It's important to get the proper information out there so people can make educated choices and educated decisions. And so if you're interested in adopting a pit bull, which I would highly recommend, number one, you want to make sure to ask lots of questions wherever you're getting your pit bull from. You want to find out how that dog is doing with other dogs, how they do with small animals, how they do with kids, how they do on leash. If you also want to get as much of a detailed history as you possibly can, so find out where that dog came from, what kinds of things they've done in their lives, why, if they're at a shelter, why were they surrendered. Not everybody has that information. Not every shelter keeps that information or has it, but if they do have it, it's good to know. And the kind of specific, pit bull specific advice that I will give you, because asking questions and getting the history, I will say that with any dog that you're adopting, regardless of breed. With pit bulls, I recommend that people that have pits work to get those dogs their Canine Good Citizen certification. So it's called the CGC certification, and it is a test that essentially, the point is to send, as many good dogs out into the world as we possibly can. Now, having the certification for a pit bull is really, really great, because if if you adopt a dog and your homeowner's insurance starts giving you trouble, or maybe your landlord feels a little weird about it or whatever, you have something conclusive that you can show them. Hey, my dog is a Canine Good Citizen. This is a really hard test that he passed. And a lot of times it can kind of calm the nerves of the uneducated. So that is my tip for you. I hope that you have enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will start to look at pit bulls in a different way as a result. I'll be back on Wednesday to talk about exercise requirements and training of pits. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a really great day.